Hello there, this is Being God's Obedient Servant channel. If you're new to this channel, this is a Bible study course, and of course, as you can tell from the primary picture here, I study from the King James Version. So, as the description says, we're doing Leviticus chapter 17 and 18 today. So, we're going to go ahead and jump right on in here. For those that are new to this channel, primarily what I like to do is go through the Bible verse by verse, chapter by chapter, and explain certain things that that are not really all that straightforward. But also I like to let people know what pertains to us today and what doesn't. And to those that that don't really know, there's about 4 things that, from what I've read, don't pertain to us today. Now, as through the study, I don't have the Bible memorized completely. And going through this, I may find another one. Because, like I said before, every time I read the Bible, I learn more things. Just as you will too. And so the 4 things that's primarily that has changed is, 1, the dietary laws have changed. Doing sacrifices to be forgiven sins. The punishments, the immediate punishments and judgments on earth, instead of each of us judging each other, is now God judging us. Because in the Old Testament, you were to judge other people. They can be brought under by judgment and executed for violating the rules just one time. And the other is the circumcision laws, which only pertains to men. So, that's the 4 that I know have changed between Old Testament and New Testament. And so let's go ahead and jump right on in here. Because there's some things in here today, in this lesson, that pertain to us today. So let's go ahead. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron, and unto his sons, and unto all the children of Israel, and say unto them, This is the thing which the Lord hath commanded, saying, What man soever there be of the house of Israel that killeth an ox, or a lamb, or a goat in the camp, or that killeth it out of the camp, and bringeth it not unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation to offer an offering unto the Lord before the tabernacle of the Lord, blood shall be imputed unto that man. He hath shed blood, and that man shall be cut off from his people, from among his people. So, of course, this one doesn't pertain to us today because this is talking about sacrifices. So let's continue on, 17:5. To the end that the children of Israel may bring their sacrifices, which they offer in the open field, even that they may bring them unto the Lord, unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, unto the priest, and offer them for peace offerings unto the Lord. And the priest shall sprinkle the blood upon the altar of the Lord at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and burn the fat for a sweet savor unto the Lord. And they shall no more offer their sacrifices unto devils, after whom they have gone a whoring. This shall be a statute forever unto them throughout their generations. And thou shalt say unto them, Whatsoever man there be of the house of Israel, or of the strangers which sojourn among you, that offereth a burnt offering of sacrifice, and bringeth it not unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation to offer it unto the Lord, even that man shall be cut off from among his people. And whatsoever man there be of the house of Israel, or of the strangers that sojourn among you, that eateth any manner of blood, I will even set my face against that soul that eateth blood, and will cut him off from among his people. Now this one, honestly, I don't really know if this pertains today or not. I mean, this is part of a rule for dietary, but for mostly the other part was, pigs and scavengers were not allowed to be eaten. They weren't allowed. They're not allowed in the diet of the Israelites. You know, but they are allowed in Christians. Now, of course, Jesus says he came to finish the law. Now, to me, this is part of the dietary but we still drain the blood out of animals that we do kill or that are done in slaughterhouses. They still drain the blood out of them, but there is a little bit of blood left. But you do have some people that hunt. It was like the Native Americans and stuff of America back in the day. They would cut the liver out and eat of it raw. From my understanding, it was a thing done of the first kill. When when a hunter does their first kill, they're supposed to take a bite of the liver, which is pretty much pure blood. So, as I said, I don't really know if that's covered today or not, because it's kind of part of the dietary law, but also it is part of just preparing an animal for food. So, but the primary reason is, we're going to find out here, is because the blood is the life of anything. Anything that lives out there, has a heartbeat and stuff like that, it has some type of blood going through its body. And that blood is its life. And we're not to eat of that. So, but as I said, I don't really know if this pertains today or not. I mean, I guess we can always play dumb private if on our judgment day God brings us up. You can say, well, I thought it was part of the dietary law, didn't really know it pertained to the new. So, like I said, I don't really know. Me personally, if I ever hunt or this, that, and the other and prepare something, I do drain it. But anyways, let's continue on from this one. It said, because here 17:11 starts talking about what blood is. For the life of the flesh is in the blood, and I have given it to you upon the altar to make an atonement for your souls, for it is the blood that maketh an atonement for the soul. So, according with this statement, though, it says that part is no longer because we don't use the altar to make atonement for our sins, for our soul. But, as I said, we have a lot of things that we do in America that kind of like pass on, like, I was circumcised as a child, but I didn't have to be. But my parents believed that, to be a Christian, you're supposed to be circumcised. And it comes a mixture of not fully reading the Bible and living by it and understanding it. So what they do is most people just went by what the pastor said. Which is always a mistake, because the pastor, he's just a man as well. And he's going to make mistakes. So it's better for you to know for yourself. But as I said, like now, the part of the blood, since it is part of life, pretty much you can use that to your discretion. But let's continue on here. Because I said there's parts of this where it says, like here, the blood is to make an atonement for your souls. But it said also it's the blood is the life of something. But let's continue on 17:12. Therefore I said unto the children of Israel, no soul of you shall eat blood, neither shall any stranger that sojourneth among you eat blood. And whatsoever man that there be of the children of Israel, or of the strangers that sojourn among you, which hunteth and catcheth any beast or fowl that may be eaten, he shall even pour out the blood thereof, and cover it with dust. So, from this, we can still take it that this is the rule for the Israelites. It says right here, to whatsoever man there be of the children of Israel, or of the strangers that sojourn among you. So this rule doesn't apply outside of the land of Israel. So, as I said, I just learned something new too. It doesn't pertain to us today. That's why I like doing these studies, because as I said, as I go through the Bible, I learn more things. Honestly, before I've read this probably many times. I've went through the Bible over 15 times I know of, and some parts I just kind of read through. I've done it in the past and didn't really pay attention too much about it because it didn't pertain to me. But now that I'm doing a Bible study, it may pertain to someone else, so people need to know what's going on. So, as I said, I kind of learned a new thing here. That, because my mom, she's still to this day, she doesn't want her steak any part rare, medium rare, whatever rare. It's got to be well, always completely, everything to be cooked out of it because of the blood, But as I said, I grew up with that, hearing these from my parents that they heard from other pastors, from preachers or whatever, and pastors, and that's what happens. We kind of get the wrong information that just gets passed on. So, this is now being cleared up. Let's continue on, verse 14. For it is the life of all flesh, the blood of it is for the life thereof. Therefore I said unto the children of Israel, ye shall eat the blood of no manner of flesh. For the life of all flesh is the blood thereof. Whosoever eateth it shall be cut off. And every soul that eateth that which died of itself, or that which was torn with beast, whether it be one of your own country or a stranger, he shall both wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the even, then shall he be clean. But if he wash them not, nor bathe his flesh, then he shall bear his iniquity. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, I am the Lord your God. Now in this one, we're going to find some the interesting things that goes on today. But, and this is where I say that, we still have to obey God. And part of this still, in chapter 18, still pertain to us today. So let's continue on. After the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwelt, shall ye not do. And after the doings of the land of Canaan, whither I bring you, shall ye not do, neither shall ye walk in their ordinances. Ye shall do my judgments and keep mine ordinances, to walk therein. I am the Lord your God. So here we're going to pause here on 4 where it says, ye shall do my judgments. The judgments we're not under no more, but the ordinances we are. The rules, the 10 Commandments, stuff of that nature. Now, as I said, like you have some of the stuff where it's just the ordinances for the Israelites only, and then you have the commandments, which is for everybody. So, but the judgment parts, the sacrifices, the punishments, and all this other stuff, that is not what we do no more. That's not on us. But here, going back to 3, we can sit there and say, the land that they were in of Egypt, it doesn't matter what you did then. And it says, in the land I'm bringing you to, which is full of Canaanites right now, well, where we're at in the Bible here, it doesn't matter what they do where you go to. It doesn't matter where you come from and what you did then. It says, what you must do is what I command you to do now, from this day forward. It's kind of the same thing as when you become a Christian and you start studying the Word. When you find out what rules pertain to you or whatever, God commands from this day forward, you're to obey that now. And so, as I said, the rule for the Israelites is kind of like the same rule for Christians. Like, it doesn't matter what you grew up doing as a sinner or a follower of the world or whatever. From this day forward, you do as I say. And it doesn't like with people going into work in places full of sinners. We got this saying, do when in Rome, do as the Romans do. Just because you work around sinners doesn't mean you partake in what they do. So we have to, this is something to pay close attention to, because a lot of this pertains to us today. You just have to flip it around. It's like before you was a Christian and still having to live in the world. So you got where you come from and where you're going to. It says, but now this is what is called upon you today. From this day forward, to be one of mine, you must do this. So you must, we have to remember that. Let's continue on verse 5. Ye shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, which if a man do, he shall live in them. I am the Lord. Now remember that part. I am the Lord. This is God speaking. It says, I am the Lord. You're not Lord over yourself. No one else is Lord over you. God is Lord over you. Let's continue, verse 6. None of you shall approach to any that is near of kin to him, to uncover their nakedness. I am the Lord. Now this area still pertains to us today. Verse 7. The nakedness of thy father or the nakedness of thy mother shalt thou not uncover. She is thy mother. Thou shalt not uncover her nakedness. The nakedness of thy father's wife shalt thou not uncover. It is thy father's nakedness. Now, of course, everyone, in case you don't understand that, your father could have remarried or in these times had more than one wife. So just because it's not your mother, it's still your father's wife. So we say stepmother today, but it can fall into that category. And believe it or not, even mother-in-law falls into this category as well. We'll continue reading. Verse 9. The nakedness of thy sister, the daughter of thy father, or the daughter of thy mother, whether she be born at home or born abroad, even their nakedness thou shalt not uncover. So to all these people that are in some areas where incest is thought of, all of it's wrong. It's all a sin. So, continue on. Verse 10. The nakedness of thy son's daughter or of thy daughter's daughter, even their nakedness thou shalt not uncover, for theirs is thine own nakedness. Which means, your children are from your seed. So your children's children are still of your seed. That's what this means. So, verse 11. The nakedness of thy father's wife's daughter, begotten of thy father, she is thy sister, thou shalt not uncover her nakedness. So this falls under even half-sisters. Or half-brothers, whichever way you want to look at this. Verse 12. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy father's sister, she is thy father's near kinswoman. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy mother's sister, for she is thy mother's near kinswoman. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy father's brother. Thou shalt not approach to his wife, she is thine aunt. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy daughter-in-law, she is thy son's wife. Thou shalt not uncover her nakedness. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy brother's wife, she is thy brother's nakedness. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of a woman and her daughter, neither shall thou take her son's daughter or her daughter's daughter to uncover her nakedness, for they are her near kinswoman. It is wickedness. Neither shalt thou take a wife to her sister, to vex her, to uncover her nakedness, beside the other in her lifetime. Also thou shalt not approach unto a woman to uncover her nakedness, as long as she is put apart for her uncleanness. Moreover, thou shalt not lie carnally with thy neighbor's wife to defile thyself with her. And thou shalt not let any of thy seed pass through the fire of Molech, neither shalt thou profane the name of thy God. I am the Lord. Now let's go ahead and look at this Molech. This is the god of the Canaanites. To pass through fire, the Canaanites sacrificed their children by fire to their god Molech. That's the land they're coming into. We can look at that today as doing abortions, murdering innocent lives for financial or sexual or social prosperity. So any way you look at this, it's murdering innocent children, whether it's by abortion, whether here they're passing through fire, any way whatsoever. It falls into the same category, especially the reasons why. Most people say today, well, I had the abortion. Women say I had the abortion done because of finances or because of this or because of that, whatever. You never hear any of these women take accountability for their actions of having unprotected sex or having sex out of wedlock. When actuality, the man that took the woman's virginity, that's her husband. Any man after that is adultery. So it's as I said, when you read the Bible, you more of this stuff. It's all becomes clear as day, and it's like, okay, so for the women out there that like to be promiscuous, I'm sorry, you're living a sinful life. And you may not want to hear this, but this is God's rules. His house, His rules. His way. That's it. This is said, like God says, keep my ordinances. It doesn't matter what you did, where the land you come from. It doesn't matter what land you're going into, what they do. You are to keep my ordinances if you want to be part of me. That's what all this means. Let's continue on here. Verse 22. Thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind. It is an abomination. And we know what that means. Neither shalt thou lie with any beast to defile thyself therewith. Neither shall any woman stand before a beast to lie down thereto. It is confusion. So, of course, we call that bestiality. So, yeah, that's not allowed either. Of course. Verse 24. Defile not ye yourselves in any of these things, for in all these the nations are defiled, which I cast out before you. So, we're going to be going into a part where you have a lot of people talking about there's a lot of death and everything else in the Old Testament. This is what's coming on to. The land of Canaan is being given to the Israelites, and the Canaanites are being brought upon judgment because for over 400 years at this time, they've been passing children through fire for their false god Molech. And so God's sent many people there, prophets and everything else, telling them to stop because God commands it and they're still doing it. So now God's bringing judgment upon them and also giving the land to the Israelites at the same time. So this is why the death happens, is because God's using the Israelites as the tool to bring judgment upon the Canaanites in the land. That's the part that's not really covered too much in the Bible, but during the time of this, they knew what it was. So let's continue on, verse 25. And the land is defiled, therefore I do visit the iniquity thereof upon it, and the land itself vomiteth out her inhabitants. So they said right here, this is the other part talking about how God's bringing judgment upon them, because the land has already been defiled, and God's, kicking them out of that land, giving it to the Israelites. Verse 26. Ye shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, and shall not commit any of these abominations, neither any of your own nation, nor any stranger that sojourneth among you. Now, we have a lot of these sins going on in America today. And America is crumbling. We are falling apart. And these are some of the reasons why. God says if you want Him to heal your land, first you must repent from your wickedness and follow God, and He will heal the land. But first you got to repent. That means acknowledge you've done wrong and stop doing it. Let's continue on here. For all these abominations have the men of the land done, which were before you, and the land is defiled. That the land spew not you out also, when ye defile it, as it spewed out the nations that were before you. For whosoever shall commit any of these abominations, even the souls that committeth them, shall be cut off from among their people. Therefore shall ye keep mine ordinance, that ye commit not any one of these abominable customs which were committed before you, and that ye defile not yourselves therein. I am the Lord your God. So here we go, following again, where it's like, these are commandments from God. It doesn't matter what other people do. It doesn't matter what you was allowed to do prior to. When you start following God, these are the rules, and you must abide by them. So this is the end of this study. I got just a couple minutes to finish this up. It was of course you can tell chapter 17 was a short chapter, so that's why I mixed it in with 18. But with YouTube, I'm still having a problem with past the 30-minute mark. I guess because I don't really have any followers or subscribers and a lot of views and anything right now, so they're keeping me limited to the 30-minute videos. So, anyways, I'm going to go ahead and end this lesson here. And so, as you can tell, the Old Testament still has rules we have to abide by today. So when you have people, you hear them say that the Old Testament doesn't matter anymore, Jesus only taught from the Old Testament. So the Old Testament is very much important, just as much as the New Testament. In fact, the New Testament didn't even exist until after the death of Jesus, because most of the New Testament is nothing but letters and books and stories written by Jesus' disciples. So, anyways, that's said, I'm going to end the study here. So, once again, pray for the world, pray for your country, pray for each other, pray for yourself. Prayer works. But remember, God only hears the prayers of those who follow Him. He doesn't hear, how's it said? It's in the Bible. In the Bible, later on, you hear God said He doesn't hear the words from the heathens. So the wickedness, people that are not part of Him. But yeah, but prayer does work. So, until next time, God bless, good night, and goodbye.